In this video, I'm going to cover the exact process that you can use to get your dream body. For those of you that don't know, my name is Zach Jones. I'm disabled and I'm currently 5 weeks out from a physique photo shoot, which will be my last ever cut that I do before I need to get a hip replacement before the age of 30. I have a disability called Perthes disease, which is where the blood supply in my hip stopped and my bone died at a young age. As a result of this, I ended up with a severe deformity in my right hip, which ultimately led me to being out of shape, anxious, and depressed, until I found the gym, which completely changed my life. And since then, I've now been a coach for over 10 years, and I've trained for over 13 years, coaching hundreds and hundreds of people all over the world in a similar position to what you probably are now. And here is the exact way that I've done it. But before I jump into it, make sure that you like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, because I'm going to be posting valuable videos like this every single week. Step number 1, identify how much weight you have to lose. Most people want to lose fat, and to lose fat, you're gonna have to lose weight. So it's extremely important to know exactly how much weight you need to lose, because what this will do is take the monotony out of dieting, because fat loss and saying you want to drop fat is incredibly broad, and actually give you a goal or a target weight that you need to specifically work towards. But more importantly, the best thing about identifying exactly how much weight you need to lose is you can put a time frame on it. I would aim from anywhere between 0.5% of body weight to 1.2 to 1.3% of body weight lost per week, depending on how experienced you are and just generally how much you've actually got to lose, and as well how deep of a deficit that you can tolerate. So for example, if you've got 30 pounds to lose and you want to lose 1 pound per week, you've identified that you've got to lose fat for 30 weeks. If you want to lose 1.5 pounds per week, then it's going to take you 20 weeks. And then if you need to lose 2 pounds of fat per week, it will only take you 15 weeks. You can get a lot more nuance with this. Like for example, with myself, with my hip, there's some weeks where I can dig a little bit more and there's some weeks where I can't, but I'll save that for a different video. And you also need to factor in things like holidays, occasions, birthdays, nights out, that obviously as a human being, you want to make sure you attend. Once you've identified that, it's on to working out your calories. Step 2, identify your maintenance calories. Now in this video, I'm not going to go extremely in depth so you can work out exactly how many calories you need, because I'll save that more in-depth topic for a different video. Or if you're generally really struggling right now and you don't want to wait until I release that video, simply go down in the description, click the link, book yourself in for a call. It is literally completely free. What we'll do is just identify where you're at currently, where you want to be, and then I'll give you a completely free roadmap taking you exactly from where you are now to where you want to be, and then you can either come on board the team and we'll help you execute you that and get you there a lot quicker than what you would on your own, or you can just take that value away and implement yourself. There's no stress. But a for sure and easy way to identify your maintenance calories is just to pick a certain amount of food that you're going to consume every single day. Make sure you're tracking it, then also weigh in every single day for about a 10 to 14 day period. Again, making sure that you're tracking that weight every single day for that period. If it goes down, then you're in a deficit. If it goes up, then you're in a surplus. And then if it stays the same, bosh, you've hit maintenance. Then in terms of your macronutrients, simply aim for about 0.8 to 1.2 grams of protein per pound of body weight, then spread the rest of the calories that you have allocated between carbohydrates and fats. I would try and hit a minimum fat allowance though, just because you need that for hormone function. And then after you've hit that minimum allowance, I would use the rest of your calories for carbohydrates, because that's your body's preferred energy and fuel source, and it'll just mean that you can stick to a diet for longer because you get more volume in your food per calories than if you have a higher fat content. And in terms of actually creating your deficit with your food as well, like I said a bit earlier, this is going to be solely dependent on how high of a deficit or how big of a deficit that you can tolerate, but anywhere from 200 to 300 calorie deficit right up to 800 to 1000 is totally fine. It just depends on how deep you can go into the trenches and stick with it. Step 3, training. Now it goes without saying you cannot out-train a bad diet, but a good diet without good training will have you wondering where all your progress is, even though you've been in the gym for years. So here is the exact framework I use when I program. Now everybody is going to be different depending on what goals they've got, what weak points they've got, and the availability. But it is a myth that you need to train every single day or 6 days a week to see progress. However, I would recommend that if you can, try and aim for training at least 3 times per week at a maximum of 5 times per week, because you do need to be allocating rest periods. However, the more frequent you can train, the more specific that you can be on certain body parts that you want to bring up. So first, identify how often you can train. Then 2, identify what areas or muscles that you want to bring up and develop the quickest. We obviously want everywhere on the body to grow, but we all have lagging body parts, and the way that I like to program is picking 2 areas that you can bring up that are your weakest, so that it gives you a full, well-rounded, well-developed physique. Next, if your goal is muscle gain, try and opt for more machines within your programming if your gym has good machines within it, as the absolute key to building muscle is to generate as much force and tension with the muscle that you're actually trying to work. And 90% of the time, that's more easily done when you use a machine, because you're more stable, and then you don't have to think about any of the other secondary muscles. You simply get yourself into position, get comfortable, and press. For example, if it is a chest press machine, over something like a barbell where you've got to lift it above your head and you have the fear of potentially crushing yourself with the bar. Now, I'm not saying here that free weights don't work. They certainly do. It's been the bread and butter of what built my physique over the years. But if you have access to good machines that reduce fatigue, minimize injury, and give you more stability, then I would center your muscle building program more so around them. Step 4, cardio and steps. Now, 10,000 steps isn't a magic number. It certainly helps if you can do more steps, because you'll burn more calories day to day, but don't get married or tied to a specific number of steps. A good rule of thumb is just average out what you're currently doing, add 2,000 to 3,000 on top of that, keep weighing yourself, and hopefully the scales go down. If they don't, add in more steps. And then if you feel you're at your capacity for steps, simply add in some cardio. It really doesn't matter what cardio you do, as long as you're using the cardio to burn more calories. And you can be even more nuanced here and manipulate things. You do less steps, more cardio, more steps on certain days, or different days in different weeks. Similarly to what I do with my hip, sometimes I can do cardio, sometimes I can't. Sometimes I can go harder on cardio, sometimes I can't. The key here is to pick something, be consistent with it, and gradually increase the intensity over time. Step 5, sleep. Now, it goes without saying, once you've had a good night's sleep, you'll know the one that I'm talking about. You wake up, you feel full of beans, you feel refreshed, you have a lot of energy, and you honestly just feel like you can absolutely attack the day. Now, imagine if you had that every single day. Now, I'm not going to sit here and just simply say, get more sleep, but honestly, if you treat sleep the same way you treat a brand new car, a brand new pair of trainers, your brand new iPhone, you'd quite literally build much more muscle, you'd drop much more fat, you'd look a billion times better, and you'd also feel a billion times better. But without even delving too deep into the science, like if you get less sleep, you're going to be more hungry. If you're more hungry, chances are you're going to fall off track with your diet. You're not going to recover anywhere near as quick. So the next time you go into the gym, you're still going to be sore. You're not going to have as much energy. If you don't have as much energy, you're not going to train as hard. You're not going to build as much muscle. And if you combine all of them, just a few little factors that I brought up in this video, you can imagine you're not going to look better, you're not going to feel better, you're not going to perform better, you're not going to build anywhere near as much muscle, and as a byproduct of yet again all of them, you're not going to drop the fat that you want. And then last but not least, on sleep, another big thing is if you're awake longer, then you have a bigger window to eat food. And if you're on a dieting phase, you really don't want to have too big of an eating window, because then again, you're going to get even more hungry. You're awake for longer, so you're going to be tired for longer, so you're going to be fatigued for longer, so your performance is also going to drop off even more in the gym. What would all simply be avoided if you just got longer sleep. And them 5 right there are the key fundamental strategies that have helped me get hundreds and hundreds of results that you saw on the screen prior to this and that you're seeing on the screen now, as well as I've implemented over the years and improved upon year by year, week by week, that's helped me build my dream body with a disability. Again, I hope you found this video helpful and you've took some information and hopefully notes down that you can quite literally implement into your training and nutritional strategy today to achieve your dream body. And if you're still wanting to achieve your dream body even after watching the video and all the information in it, or it seems like a lot of information and it's hard to digest, remember what I said earlier, just go into the link below, book a call in, and I'm more than happy to see how me and the team can help.